It's your boy Noto, back in these YouTube streets because your boy won't miss a beat. And in today's video, we're going to discuss explaining why attractive men have the advantage over average and unattractive men. So, guys, I've come across these clips, guys, and we finna go ahead and chop it up, guys. You already know what time it is, and we're gonna do like some in-depth type things with this. We're gonna really go in with it, kind of. So you're gonna see what I'll do, and we're gonna pull it up in a second right here. Give me 1 second. Let's go.
All right, peace. So let me explain something to you men out there. Let me explain something. The dudes that like to spend money, the ones who says it's not tricking if you got it. Let me explain something to you. There is a social hierarchy in life. Meaning, in this world, we have what they call apex predators. A apex predator is a lion, a orca, a wolf. Those are apex predators. Top of the food chain.
And let me go in and put this in here, right now, because the apex predators that he might be talking about as well can also, people could actually use that as a humbling tactic as well. See what I'm saying? People can use that as a humbling tactic. So they will be like, okay, say for instance, they're like a coyote or antelope or something like that, and they're standing over there saying, well, the lion can beat the leopard, but the leopard is an apex predator as well. So is the snow leopard and all that other stuff. And they're in different families. But what they would try to do, they would try to compare you to another apex predator, saying that that predator is better when they're not even in the running. You see what I'm saying? The coyote and antelope, they're pretty much prey for either one of those. So that's why a lot of people, they'll try to do the humbling tactic of comparing you to another person as if you're not attractive, period. That's how they try to take that away from you. To be like, oh, you're not as attractive as this person, or you're not on the model level. That's how they try to take it to you. The point is, you're attractive, period.
There is a such thing as social hierarchy in this world. Let me explain to you what I mean on a basic level. There are men out there in the world who are so attractive, very attractive, super attractive. They do not have to spend a dime. They've never spent a dime. You are not him. There are women who entertain these men. They don't have to spend a dime. They don't even have to take these women on coffee dates.
And there was a whole big coffee date discussion and all this other stuff and pushback and all this. But a lot of men won't believe this, guys. They will not believe that. This is the advantage that the attractive man have over the average man and the unattractive man right here. This is what they don't like to talk about. This is what they don't like to delve into. But I'm glad this brother's bringing it to the light because a lot of the guys will be acting delusional out here. And it's really just a coping mechanism because they don't share in the having the advantage that the attractive men have over them.
They are highly sorted out by women. 6 feet, 6 pack, 6 figures.
To be honest with you, you don't even have to have that. You don't have to be 6 foot. Oh, trust and believe me, you don't have to be 6 foot. You can be a shark in with the face card and the body and all that other stuff. Yeah, you don't have to have 6 figures like he said. You don't have to spend money on women. Most likely, bro, you understand. Your looks are currency, but we're gonna get into that later. We definitely going to get into that later.
Sometimes they don't even need to have 6 figures. They may just be super attractive. Have the height, have the structure. Those type of men who are highly sorted out by women do not spend any money. You, on the social hierarchy of things, are not allotted that privilege. You have to spend the money.
Yep, they got to spend the money.
You have to get the hair done. You have to get the nails done. You're not attractive on that level.
Yep. So they have to compensate by giving gifts. They have to compensate for doing something outside of them because they lack in the sexual attraction department. This is what guys don't want to accept. So the coping mechanism, this is how they make themselves okay with doing that. So they say, oh, this is the manly thing to do. This is what we're supposed to do for the women. Yeah, you're not a man if you don't do this. You're not a man because that reinforces the fact that they have to do it. You see what I'm saying? It makes them feel manly to say, "Oh yeah, man, I'm a man, so I'm gonna get my mama nails done." No, that is a requirement. That is not really a choice.
You're average, right? Some men are below average, okay? And who determines that? The women determine that. My level of attractiveness is determined by the women, not by me.
Exactly, exactly. The women the women see when people like me come on here and talk about the handsome privilege and stuff like that. People start thinking that, oh yeah, he's thinking that he's all that, and oh, like this is self-proclaimed. No, the women have shown me this. The women have shown me this. You see what I'm saying? The environment has shown me this. You can't be self-proclaimed. You can't go around saying, "Oh, I get all these chicks, and you do this, and you have this type of chicks have this type of interaction to you." If it doesn't happen to you, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't come out of thin air. You have to have the experience. You have to been and gone through that several times, over and over and over and over again. That's why I tell you guys to go out and compile and compound these experiences so you can even make it up to yourself. But okay, yeah, I'm an attractive man because this is happening over and over and over. So this is how you dismiss the flukes. You see what I'm saying? Well, it's not a fluke that this is happening across the board with women. You see what I mean? So that's why you to dismiss the fluke. Now, okay, you have to accept the fact that okay, you're an attractive man. This is not what average men are getting. And this is why you can't talk to average men about the experiences you're having because they're not having these experiences. See what I'm saying?
Not by me. But let me help you understand something. I'm talking to you, the men. There is a social hierarchy. Even among the human family, they are apex.
Mhm.
Those type of men do nothing. They spend nothing. Some of them come fresh out of prison and move right in with a woman. No.
Some of them don't even come fresh out. Some of them are getting caught while they're in prison. Some of them got women holding them down, searching them and seeking them out in prison. Trust and believe me on that. Trust and believe me on that. If not, look at the pen pal sites. Look at Facebook. You post a picture of a prisoner, and they ladies are going crazy. Oh, how much is bond? Oh, what's his commissary? What's all this other stuff? Come on now, that don't happen for no average guys because average guys post their mug shots all the time. That don't happen. They mug shots and they prison pictures all the time. You don't be seeing the women thirst up under them for that. No, these guys have sex appeal. These guys are looking attractive to these women. See what I'm saying? This don't happen to the run of the mill regular old Joe. It don't happen for you like that, Jack. It happened for guys like us. You see what I'm saying?
bullshit. This is true story. There are men out there in the world who have nothing. They don't have no ID. They don't even got a bank account. But damn, they super attractive. Listen
Mm.
to me. They're super attractive. They do not have to spend a dime. Do not let the internet fool you, my friend. I'm serious. Don't let the internet fool.
I'm glad he understand this. I'm glad he understands this, but it's still gonna be guys that have pushback and all this other stuff. But the fact that this brother's actually saying this stuff is actually gonna bring some people to understand it. A lot of guys they know it, but they just try to deny it and hide behind other things to try to get the advantage that where they have no advantage. They try to gain leverage where they have no leverage. Not in the physical attraction and sexual attraction field, rather.
You. There is a social hierarchy, and women fold to those type of men. Peace.
Men hate acknowledging that there's a handsome privilege. They hate acknowledging that there's men who get privileges solely because he's attractive.
They hate acknowledging it because it would then it would then prove the point that what they're doing is simping. You see what I'm saying? They can't acknowledge that you're getting your stuff right off your looks. Because then what happened to that talk I told you about earlier? Oh, it's a man that got to do this stuff for his woman. The man got to buy the nails and get the purses and all this other stuff. This will make you a real man. But if they admit that a woman to get her own nails and hair done just for this attractive man to come over there and spend no money and they spend the money on him, it would pretty much debunk the whole point that they said that there was real men. What happened to that? So they're not going to want to admit that because they would then have to take accountability and admit the fact that okay, yeah, we have to spend the money in order to even get the woman's attention. Period.
They hate acknowledging that. They will try everything in their power to make it seem like women don't care about looks. There's a small amount of women who don't care about looks. but most of us are visual just like men. That's how you got men driving women's cars and living in their houses for free, and women putting their name on leases for grown adult men.
Putting their name on leases and pretty much turning against their family after the family tell them not to do stuff and tell them to leave the man alone and all that other stuff. Yeah, all that works because the woman finds him highly sexually attractive, has a highly attractive man.
Because it's usually that man is attractive and that woman is giving him those things because of how attractive he is. It's just like pretty privilege, but just in a male form. These men get gifts, these men get flued out. These men don't have to do nothing but show up. While you somewhere begging for a text back, he and his phone deciding who he want to text back.
That's the crazy part right there. This is the part they don't want to hear. This is the part the guys don't want to hear. They don't. They don't want to hear that. They're the ones waking up saying, "Oh, good morning, beautiful. What can I do for you today? Let me take you out to eat. Let me spend you on this. Let me, try to sell them on it." They don't have the chicks giving hearts to their stories and stuff like that. They don't have chicks giving hearts and coming at them and stuff. They don't have the experiences of women finding them sexually attractive. They don't have women coming up to them saying, "God, damn." They the ones saying, "God, damn" to the women. They ones doing that. You see what I'm saying? They never be on the receiving end of these things. This is why.
It's levels to it. But y'all men got to get out of denial and thinking that y'all all on one playing field and y'all all get the same results out of women, because you don't.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. They think money is what is the equalizer for all this and stuff like that. No, the money just makes them tolerate you.
Much as y'all hate the fact that women want men with money, a lot of y'all men should be grateful that you have money as an option.
Uh
You
oh.
know why? Because you don't have the looks, you don't have the personality, but at least if you have the money, it can get you girls you would never have access to.
Uh
Right?
oh.
Like, you got to look at the bright side of stuff. Some of these girls that some of y'all men are with, there's no way on God's green earth that you should have ever had access to a woman that attractive.
And they know it. They know it. They know that for a fact, bro. And the thing is, they get so much high up into their juice. They get so high up into they get high up their own supply by thinking that, oh yeah, I got this money. Oh, she over here. Yeah, I get all these bad bitches, and yeah, they always be up on me, man. Every time I walk in the spot, they on me, man. Look at this. But look what you wearing. Look how you leading. You leading with the money. You leading with your resources. You buying them all this other stuff, bro. It's nothing but they're trying to disguise tricking as macking. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to put tricking and they're trying to form. They're trying to mesh that up as if that's what it is. No, it's tricking. You're a trick. You see what I'm saying? But they try to make it seem like they're macking because they're getting the woman like, yeah, I got this and I got that. And they know damn well if they didn't have any of the other stuff, if they didn't peek out, they didn't wear none of this stuff, the designer and flash and sit outside with the cars sitting on 22s and booming music outside the club so somebody can see them with it and shit like that. These women wouldn't even look their way. They know it. They know it, bro. These guys cannot go out playing Jane. Playing Jane, bro, and really like get the sexual attraction from women. They can't do that. They can't walk in the club with just a gas station shirt on, a pair of jeans, and it's just some Nikes on their feet, and really get that effect from women. They can't do it. They have to dress it up with the jewelry. They have to dress it up with the designer. They have to be Balenciaga down. They gotta be a Mary down. Man, I'm Dior down, man. She ain't talking, man. I'm Dior down, but she better look my way. But that shit's so lame, bro. Like, it's nothing wrong with being Dior down if you like, okay, you like being Dior, but you don't need to be Dior down. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference between being Dior down and you need to be Dior down and you don't need to be. Because it could just be a regular plain black shirt or plain shirt and you could still get the effect. Woman, that's when you know it. When you in base form and you can get the woman to snap their necks, that's when you like that. When you can wear a tank top, get women to snap their necks, oh, that's when you can do it. And some gym shorts and some regular shoes, that's when you can do it. These guys can't do that. They have to be flashy. That's why they will never understand, and that's why so much pushback because they have to use flashing of resources and like, oh yeah, and they have to use peacock in order to get women. That's why.
And the only reason why you have is because of money. You're not Mr. Personality, you're not charismatic, and you're not attractive. But at least money gets you access to these women. So while you complaining about women wanting money, you should be grateful, because if it wasn't for money, some of y'all would never be able to get these baddies that you want. Because if it came down to looks, you'd never be able to pull them.
Facts. It is a fact. That is a fact. If it came down to looks, they'll never be able to pull them. But they'd be the main ones talking about, well, all she want is money, all she want is this and all that. See, they lead with the money first. This is delusional mindset of those guys that be saying, no, it ain't tricking if you got it and all this other stuff, right? So what they do, they lead with the money, and then when they get into the relationship and stuff like that, on the terms and the contract that they signed from the beginning, then they try to be like, oh, why you don't like me for me? Why you always asking me for this? Why you always asking me that? And you led that way, and you know that's the reason why she's over there. You knew that you used the peacocking system that you always been using all your life because you refuse to put work into yourself, nor do you have the genetics or nothing like that to maximize anyway. So some of y'all just cooked out. I'm just gonna keep it a buck like that. A lot of you guys just out here just cooked in the face, cooked, cooked in the body and all that stuff like that. So you never really tried to maximize anything that you could maximize if you could, like. But the thing is, hey, I'm kind of missing my point a little bit. But what these guys do, they try to change the terms of the agreement. And they get mad saying, oh, she only wants this money when you led with the money. Bro, you led with that. Stop trying to change up now. That ain't how you got her. You know that ain't how you got her. You know that ain't what she's there for. But then they try to act like they don't know why the trick is doing this stuff. Like, well, pretty much a trick at that point because that's why she with him. But anyway, that's why a lot of these guys get in the trick of a marriage, trick of a relationship, and they be like, "Oh, she only want this. She always ask for this. Or she always want money. She always want that." No, that's not. They think the money is going to drag them in and automatically just boost their sexual desire for them. That's not how it works. You see what I'm saying? They try to do the bait and switch. They use the money to bring them in, but they see that okay, these guys, yeah, no, no, no. You see what I'm saying?
Men are not playing by the same rules. All men are not created equal. I made that video talking about D'Angelo's brother because I wanted to prove a point. A lot of times when I do stuff, it's to prove a point. I go back and forth arguing with dudes on this app all the time about handsome privilege, right?
The reason she has to go back and forth arguing with these dudes about handsome privilege is because they do not experience it. That's why she has to go back and forth. Well, if any guys is going back and forth about this, any guys that are going back and forth about this and saying, "Oh yeah, this ain't that, this ain't this, or you get them like this, or you get them like that," they don't experience it. They don't experience it. Automatically just go on and just cancel them out. They don't experience it. They don't know what you're talking about. They can't relate to you. Because if they have to go back and forth about the fact that men experience handsome privilege, they have never received it. They've never been on the receiving end. That's why she got to keep going back and forth with the battles because these guys don't experience it.
Right? And how men are not created equal just like women are not. Men who are attractive, they do not play by the same rules as average men. They do not play by the same rules as very unattractive men, right? They
Mm-hmm.
get privileges that a lot of men will never get the experience. When men sit up talking about all men have to pay to play, no, they don't, right?
That's their way of trying to assume that every man has to do the things that they do. You see what I'm saying? Because they had to do all this to get the woman. They have to peacock and and put her on a pedestal and all this other stuff to even get her to go out on a date with them and stuff like that. They feel like every man experienced that because they went through so much trauma. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like a guy that's jacked and is very strong. And say, for instance, they both work at the same lumber yard. And this one guy, he carries over one piece of lumber and he's like, oh, he's struggling. He's struggling so hard to carry that piece of lumber over there. So he's going to assume that every other guy is having as much trouble as he's having to carry that piece of lumber over there to stack it on the pile over there. But it's this other guy that's just carrying them over there just with ease, probably two or three of them in his arms and carrying them over there with ease. And you know what I'm saying? He's juggling them and he put them over there with ease. And the thing is, the other guy can't fathom the fact that he can easily do this. But he just struggled so long. And the time it took for him to take one over there, he about to die, dang there, just trying to carry that one piece of lumber over there. This guy carried three of them over there, no sweat. In less of the time it took him to take that one over there. See what I'm saying? That's the whole difference between when a man goes above and beyond for a woman that don't even really find him attractive versus a guy that's magnetic and has charisma, looks good. You see what I'm saying? He has the genetics. He's an attractive man. They're coming to him. They flock to him. See, these guys, they live in two different realities. Even though they're working on the same yard, you say we on the same playing field as like being on Earth and all this other stuff. We have the same access to internet and all this other stuff, but we all have a different experience with this said technology, with these said being on this land. You see what I'm saying? The interactions we have with women, interactions we have with people, interactions we have at work, interactions we have on a daily basis. You see what I mean? So that's why they cannot comprehend you. See what I'm saying? He remember, like the example I said, he struggled so hard to carry that one piece of lumber over there. Struggled so hard to get that woman's attention. Struggled so hard to just to get her to come out on a date with him and be nonchalant, like she don't even want to be there. But this other guy has three women beating down his door and beating down his DMs just to get a chance with him, and he gets the pick of the lot. They can't understand that.
But this is something that you will never fully understand because you've never been in the place of an extremely attractive man. So in your mind, you just can't even conceptualize that there's men who just have to exist and women just throw themselves at them. But if you don't believe it, you can go through my comment section and you can clearly see on that video how women are when a man is attractive. And this is why I continuously tell men that physical attraction, sexual attraction is the best attraction that you can get from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Dangling money in front of her will only make her want to use you. That's fine. I love that for you. But if you actually
See, that's another thing right there. Like, if they used and all that other stuff, yes, that is fine. That is definitely fine. But the only thing is, these guys, they don't want to admit the fact that they're tricking. You see what I'm saying? Now, if they be like, okay, yeah, I got this money, and I know this is the only reason they over here, and I don't mind doing this. I know this is the reason why, and they're not delusional and acting like they max because of they doing it. That'll be fine. You see what I'm saying? I actually respect guys that call themselves tricks and be like, yeah, hey, this is what I'm doing. Okay, that's fine. At least they understand and they're operating in reality and not delusion. Because these other guys acting like, oh, I'm Megan. I got all these girls right here, man. I got all these men, but they know they tricking. Just call it what it is, bro. It's like if you're tricking, you tricking. But shoot, I mean, if you still got the access, but it ain't the same type of access. But I'd rather you be realistic about it than delusional about it. You see what I mean? So that's the thing. We live in two different realities, but they're living in delusion and they live in a false reality, and they're trying to create the whole environment of being sexually desired when they're really just being in a transactional relationship. You see what I mean?
want a woman who, when she see you, she just wants you strictly off the fact that she's so attracted to you. That's a different level of attraction.
Yes, and it comes at no cost.
That's the type of attraction a man should want. You shouldn't want her to have to think about all the things that you can do for her financially in order for her to get turned on. Right? She can't.
And they can't get turned on from that. They cannot get turned on from, oh, look what he can do for me. Look at what he. That's not turning them on. That's making them excited. That's making them, okay. Yeah, that's lifting the boulder off my shoulder. You can get excited without getting turned on. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they'll get excited to use your ass, but that's not making them, oh, let's go to the bed. That's not making them want to do that. Now they might do that in order to feed your ego and stuff like that, but that's not the initial response. You know what I'm talking about?
Get turned on to even think about you in a sexual way unless she can think about all of the money and things that you can buy her versus she just look at you and she wants you. But again,
Mm-hmm.
y'all are not playing by the same rules. A lot of y'all will never get to experience that. You will never get to have women just off the strength of you looking the way you do. You will have to pay to play. You will have
Exactly.
to be an exceptional man. You will have to be a top tier man in every aspect in order to get the same treatment that a man who is just simply attractive gets. And
That is the ultimate advantage right there. That is the ultimate advantage that attractive men have over these guys that saying they have to maximize this. That's why when guys try to one up you and all this other stuff, that's why they always talk about their accomplishments and try to be like how good of a person they are, how much they done in the community and all this other stuff, because they cannot combat the sheer fact that you can walk in the room and the woman just wants you. They have to try to prove themselves. They got to try to sell themselves. You ain't got to sell yourself. Your billboard is already attracting customers. They gotta put all type of neon lights. They gotta put all kind of like circus animals and all the other kind of stuff around their billboards in order, like, and that's the jewelry, that's the designer, and that's all the other stuff. You walking in with your plain Jane billboard, but it's pulling. It's magnetically pulling. Plain Jane pulling. But they gotta put all this other stuff like decorations, Christmas decorations, and Halloween decorations, and all kind of stuff. Have like a whole circus um, tent around this and all that stuff just to have a chick look their way. That's the difference. That's the difference between the two billboards right there. That's the ultimate advantage we have.
I know that's hard to accept, but we women have to accept it. We're not created equal. We don't all play by the same rules. There's a hierarchy when it comes to women. You're
Sure
more
is.
attractive versus you're less attractive, and the benefits the more attractive ones get, the lower ones don't. The things that more attractive women can get away with that less attractive women can't. That's just what it is.
Man, so guys, you've heard it here, man. Attractive men have the advantage over the average and unattractive men. You guys just have to understand that. A lot of men just have to understand that. I don't care if you want to look at me and be like, oh, he's not this and he's not that. Like I said in the example earlier, bro, like just because you compare me to somebody else or you try to do this or you try to rate me on this scale, I don't need your approval to say if I'm attractive or not. My environment has already done that for me. The women in my environment have already done that for me. You see what I'm saying? I've already gotten that confirmation for myself. I don't need that from other guys and all this other stuff. I'm just here to spread the message and to say that I've actually experienced this as well. So it is what it is. I'm not here to sit here and try to hold nobody's hand or try to prove anything about, oh, well, I'm this, I'm all that. I'm not over here to try to brag and flaunt and none of that stuff there. I'm just telling you what it is. You feel me? But anyway, it's your boy Noto back in these YouTube streets because your boy won't miss a beat. And remember, guys, anybody can improve themselves, they want to work at it. I'm out.